Hey everyone, welcome back to Immediate Movie Reactions. I'm here after seeing Quiet Place Day 1. This is the prequel to the previous two movies. Quiet Place, directed by John Krasinski. And I've been very vocal, especially my review of If, that I'm not a John Krasinski fan. But I love that movie. I've seen it several times. I think it is absolutely fantastic. For some reason, I never saw the second Quiet Place. I don't know why. It just slipped from my radar. And I kept meaning to watch it leading into this movie and never quite made it there. But I think it's okay. I don't think that you need to even have seen the other two movies to see this and enjoy it and understand what's going on. It's not complicated. This is starring Lupita Nyong'o and Joseph Quinn, who you may remember as Eddie Munson from Stranger Things, and they both turn in a fantastic performance. Digimon Hunsu is in this again as like that guy who's in the movie but then doesn't really do anything. I don't know why he keeps getting these roles. He's absolutely fantastic. He is at the beginning of this movie and then disappears for 75-80% of it. For some reason shows up again at the end, I think because they paid him. I don't know why. But the story here is basically how the monsters come. And maybe this was established in the second movie, but in this one, they, I think, established that they're aliens. They show these comets coming down, and that's how it kind of precipitates everything happening. And this is not set in sort of a rural environment. This is in New York City, and Lupita Nyong'o is a poet who is at the end of her life. She's in hospice care. They've gone into the city to see a show. There's this whole weird performance with a marionette, which I'll tell you, I can't quite get the significance or the metaphor that they're trying to get. Maybe that she just wants to fly away because this marionette does so, but then the balloon pops and it falls, and maybe that's the symbolism of how she's trying to escape the things that are holding her back but can't quite, crashes to the earth. I don't know. I don't want to get too deep into that because what this is a monster movie, and it's a character study, and these are my favorites. Like, what I love about these is, I love the Independence Day and the movies that are about Armageddon, as terrible as it is, right? It's about that big event. But this movie, Signs, right? Or Cloverfield. It's about the event that's going on around them, but it's really about the people and how they're experiencing it. And the creature effects in this are absolutely fantastic. So basically, everything comes down, and there will be spoilers, sorry. Everything comes down, and then Lupita decides that she needs to go to Harlem to get pizza for some reason. I don't know his name. The guy from Hereditary, who is no longer a kid, is in this movie as well. And he kind of disappears early in the film because everybody's getting eaten by the monsters, except that this main character, for some reason, finds it really easy to keep escaping from them. And then she meets up with Joseph Quinn, and she has a cat, which, take it or leave it. The fact that we know that the cat's name is Frodo, and Eric, I don't know what the main character's name is. I'll tell you right now. I know that they say it never really stuck with me, because most of this movie is, again, obviously it's quiet, it's a silent place. The creatures are chasing them, kind of, because every once in a while they'll make a mistake and they'll make noise. And here's where the whole conceit of this series and the film kind of falls apart a little bit for me. I think that we adapt very quickly, and we would find a way to stop these monsters who... And going back to my reference to Signs earlier, one of the things that people complain about is, why would these aliens come to this planet where the water is poisonous? Well, why would these monsters come and hunt people in a world that's mostly water, where they just have to go to the water to escape? So they never quite established if the monsters are actually intelligent, if they are just monsters. Are they aliens? Is there some nefarious plot here? Is there a plan, or are they just feasting? Is this a predator situation where there's a certain event, and the world has gotten noisy enough? Because they do talk about the noise of New York City. And that's where my issue with the cat, I'm jumping all over the place here, my issue with the cat comes in, is that the cat isn't really necessary. It didn't really bother me. I think it's going to bother a lot of people. my issue with the cat is that it only kind of matters or shows up when it's causing a problem, and I think that's a cheap plot device. Overall, the traipsing, the voyage across New York City to try to get pizza seems a little bit silly, except then you realize that the main character is in fact dying, and she wants to say goodbye to her family and her life, and she wants to say goodbye to her father, and that's all pretty touching. But it's broken up by kind of weird chase sequences where, if it was this easy to get away from the monsters, why hasn't everybody done it, right? If these monsters, you just have to be quiet and then they can't find you. Like, I'm sorry, the human body is loud. There's one point where the monster is, just a couple inches from more than one character in this film, and they can't hear the heartbeat, they can't hear the breathing, they can't hear the panting, they can't hear just the general sounds that our bodies make, but they can hear if you drop a book from 10 blocks away, right? So there's some inconsistencies there that I do think fall apart, but overall it's a beautifully shot film, even though I think there are a couple scenes where it looks like there might be some CGI backdrops to show the sort of apocalypse that has happened. I think that there's one scene in particular in this where she's trapped under a car and the car is falling on her as the monsters are kind of all around. And I thought that was a brilliant scene, but there isn't enough like that. There's a couple others where they're escaping through this subway tunnel that is flooded, and how it got flooded, I don't quite explain, except maybe it's because the army's also dropping bombs to blow up the bridges, and there's a lot of crap that happens that doesn't really get explained, but I'm going to say that's okay, because this is really from their limited point of view, right? It's the limited narrator. It's not that omniscient view of knowing everything that's happening. And then I think the end of this film was kind of a cop-out. The big culmination of them being able to escape seemed a little bit too easy. And God, I don't know. I wanted her to die, but I wanted her to die her way and not necessarily. I guess it ends with her. She's about to be eaten by a monster. Sorry, again, spoilers, but yeah, I guess that's where it's going with this. I really enjoyed this film. I did. I know I'm sounding really negative. See it, stream it, or skip it. I'm going to be a little bit contrary here. I'm going to say stream this movie, even though I did enjoy it, even though I think it is good in the theater. It is, for a quiet movie, it's incredibly loud. There are times when this movie was almost deafening. But here's my issue. Watching this in a theater with multiple people around, I've got one person on their phone the whole time. I've got a group of people next to me that are talking throughout the course of this film. Someone else has brought what appeared to be a full bag of potato chips. And it was incredibly frustrating when, this is quiet moment, the characters are miming a magic trick or they're connecting or whatever, and you hear someone crunching and opening this baggage. So anyway, for that, I would say stream this movie, because you can see it in your house. You can still have it loud. You can still have a big screen. You can turn off the lights. You can just get into this movie and let it be quiet. Or if you want to be on your phone or whatever, then do that. As much as I think that we need more people going to movies, God, it can be frustrating with a movie like this, right? So anyways, that's where I am. I think it's a fantastic movie, and I think that's probably best to stream in your own home. And there we are. Maybe there won't be any more, and I think that would be okay. Anyways, thank you very much. I would like to ask, what has been your favorite prequel to a series of movies? Is there a prequel that you think was really good? Because I do avoid previews and I avoid reviews and all that sort of thing. But I think there's a lot of mixed reviews on this movie. So, some people think maybe it's kind of ruining that beauty of the first movie. I don't know about that. We'll see. So what is your favorite preview? And I will appreciate everyone if you could hit that like, share, and subscribe and everything. And I will see you after the next movie.